right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. So I hope you guys had a restful evening and got some good dinner. If I know you firefighters, I'm sure you probably just went to bed. But I'm glad to see everyone here. So we are really, really excited for today. So in this classroom, we will be doing a scientific workshop. And then all of the firefighter workshops will be happening downstairs. We'll be telling you where each of you guys are going. And everyone will go to all 4 workshops. So everyone will switch each workshop. So we will go over that in just a little bit. But before we get started, we want to announce, so as you guys saw yesterday evening during the poster session, we had a lot of trainees, young scientists, students that had their scientific posters, and they were being judged. So we want to award our young scientists and poster presenters. And so with that, do we have it? Oh, yeah, Twitter. Okay. So third place goes to Brandon Rose, an MD MPH from University of Miami. So his poster was Research Data and Open Source Coding, a scalable and customizable model that can be applied to most research projects. So unfortunately, Brandon is not here to accept his award. He is doing rotations as he is a resident at Jackson Memorial Hospital. So give it up for Brandon. Our second place award goes to Justin Garace from North Carolina State, Wilson College of Textiles, with the poster title of Qualitative Assessment of the Off-Gassing of the Fluorinated Finishes from the Firefighters' Turnout Suits. Yeah. Just want to see if she's here to receive her award. Nope. Okay. Well, we will get her award. And last but not least, our first place award went to Shruti Chaudhary, a PhD student from University of Miami, with the poster title Aerosol Exposure to Firefighters During Fire Training and Gear Doffing Procedures. So we will give them all their awards. And so thank you all for being there and listening to them, asking them questions during the poster presentation. All right, and moving on.
So good morning, everyone. So to open up this morning's session, our scientific workshops and our firefighter workshops, I'd like to welcome to the stage our State Fire Marshal, Director JoAnne Rice.
All right, good morning, everyone. I gotta say, I'm really glad I'm not on that giant screen. That was a little bit worrisome for me yesterday. I was like, oh God, make sure I don't have anything in my teeth or my hair's right. But that's not that way today, so that's perfect. I do want to thank you for being here on behalf of the State Fire Marshal and CFO, Jimmy Petronis. Welcomes you to the state, certainly welcomes you to this facility and to this conference. I want to thank the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue for hosting us here. What a tremendous facility here. And for the union, the facility we used yesterday, that was really an amazing place. So really appreciate their partnership in this. I got to say, though, I'm really humbled and honored to be here before you all. First and foremost, I want to say I am not a scientist. That's why I wore the uniform. So I want to make sure it's clear delineation. Scientists, you all are doing all the hard work, doing the great work that you do as our partners and scientists and doing the research that's going to make us all better, that's going to continue to make us safer. What I will say is that we've got to continue to do a better job as firefighters, taking the information that you provide to us to help us get better. So yesterday was truly an amazing day. I learned a lot. We started off the conversation of the day with the IARC conversation, a really important information that's going to carry the fire service forward, that's going to make a huge impact on us as we move forward in legislation, not just in Florida, but across the country. So I'm really excited about what comes out of that and what will continue to come out of that research. But really, the people that I met yesterday was just incredible. I said I learned a lot of things from a lot of different people, but just sitting down and having good conversations and heart to heart about things, about what connected them to this, why I'm here, was really important part of yesterday, and just talking with folks during the day and at dinner last night. I came to this, and I'm going to just give you a little bit of my history. I know I'm going to keep my time short because I'm going to try to keep us on schedule for starting off the day. So you guys keep me on track. Start yawning or pointing, pulling me off the stage, whatever. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, and I've been very fortunate. Cancer, as we know, and we heard yesterday, 75% of the line of duty deaths that are on the wall out there in Colorado annually are from cancer. Right? 75% of those. That's a huge number. But it doesn't have to be a part of the job, as Auto Droid said yesterday. It's not part of the job. We should not have to accept that as part of the job. And so we've got to do better. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. I'll go back to what I was just going to say. A little bit about me. So my journey, I started in the fire service in 1989. I had made a decision I was going to become a firefighter. And that decision didn't come lightly. I had just finished college and was going to be a physical therapist, occupational therapist, but I was hit with a personal story where my mother called me and said, "Hey, I've got a brain tumor." I was 25 years old, just graduated from college, had not really set in stone what I was going to do yet, but I had had a plan, and she said, "I've got a brain tumor." And ironically, I was talking to Sam Eaton last night, and I realized I actually had applied for Miami during that year. After that, I got a ticket on my way up to see my mom when in Charlotte, North Carolina. And ironically, I got another ticket coming down to Miami for an interview, and I got disqualified from the process for Miami. So I didn't become a firefighter in Miami. I got the job in Gainesville. So that's all a little bit about destiny. But anyways, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. That was in February. So this past month, this year, it'll be 34 years. It's hard to believe that. But I will say that was a defining time in my life. She was diagnosed in February. She died in June. So a very quick 4 months. But before that, she had been the most resilient, powerful woman I ever met. So resiliency is a thing I want us to continue to focus on. I think resiliency, building our tolerance to stress. It impacts us all. It impacts us with cancer, with PTSD, with whatever it may be. If we can start building on that resiliency, it's going to help us throughout our health and throughout our histories in the fire service. So that was my start with my mom. We kind of argued. I said, for some reason, it came back to me that I wanted to be a paramedic. I'd been down here in Miami and had gone through a tremendous first aid class that was better than any EMT or firefighter class that I'd ever been in. But I kind of went back to that. A lot of those folks became paramedics in this area. So I think I want to become a paramedic. And somebody out of the blue said, "Hey, if you go into the fire service, if you start with a fire department, they'll put you through medic school." And I said, "Oh, that sounds like a good deal." But throughout those 4 months with my mom, we argued about that. But I will tell you, when it came down to it, my mom looked at me probably 2 weeks before she passed, and she said, "You know what? I think if you want to be a paramedic, go be a paramedic, because I think you'll be the best one there ever was." She says, "But what is the key and what's the most important thing is that you're happy, right?" And says, "Your destiny is in your control." I wasn't planning on getting emotional about that, but it put me on a path to right here, right now. And I wouldn't change that part, right? I've missed my mom for those 34 years. She's my graduation, my child, my marriage, you name it, my promotion. She wasn't able to be there. I know she was here in my heart. But it put me on this journey. And then tying that in with getting that ticket, very strange, getting that ticket in Charlotte, going up there, told the officer, say, "Hey, I'm going up to see my mom. She just got diagnosed with a tumor, brain cancer." And he said, "Sorry, here's your ticket." I said, "Thank you for the compassion." But anyways, that started me on my journey in the fire service. And I will say I was lost for about a year in 1989. I kind of fumbled around, came to Miami, was in Gainesville, but ultimately found my path. And I landed in Gainesville and became a firefighter there. And, you know, I will say the rest is history. But I landed in this job at the state a year and a half ago or so, almost 2 years ago. And it was by chance. I filled out an application the last day. One of my guys from Gainesville Fire Rescue told me, said, "Hey, you know, this looks like a job you might be interested in." And I looked at the job description. I said, "Yeah, this would be great," and I applied. And when I went in there to the interview, I told Director Hallis, which it shocked him a little bit. I think it took him aback. But at the end of the interview, I said, "I want your job." And I know he went back. I know he went back to the to our staff, and he said, "She said she wants my job." But that's what he was looking for at the time. And he has been a tremendous mentor, tremendous help, and I know that he will continue to be an asset to me, and an asset to the state, and an asset to this cause. So thank you, Director Hallis, for what you have done and what you do, and I hope to continue to carry the torch. And I wanted to tell you that story so you know where my heart is. I don't come to this new. I don't come to this lightly. I'm going to continue to push forward. I'm going to continue to make sure that the state provides for, that we continue to provide the and advocate for, but continue to provide the funding that we have available. We currently fund University of Miami. I said the bad one the other day. I'm from Gainesville, and there's another university that's there that seems to roll off my tongue. But I didn't do it. I said University of Miami. And no, University of Miami. That we will continue to provide that funding, that $2 million a year. Right now, we've since inception, we're just under 2.5 million. You saw it not 2.5, 10.5 million. You saw it yesterday, 10,465,000, I think, somewhere along those lines. But we've also, Director Hallis, back in 2018, distributed those decon buckets. There was almost 47,000 of those distributed around the state. We started doing training for firefighters, minimum standards. Training for officers in not minimum standards, but company officer on decon, on cancer awareness, on PTSD awareness. We got a lot of things that are coming out of the state to support these issues. We had the Advanced Decon Grant that's been about $500,000 a year. I think we're right at $1.2 million since inception. I did present that at the National Volunteer Firefighter Council, and I had somebody come up to me afterwards. He said, "$500,000, that's nothing. You need to get that up." And I said, "Well, we're going to try." But that's for our departments. But one of the things that comes along with those grants is that our departments have to do a safety compliance check, right? And when they do that safety compliance check, we go in and we make sure that they're following the best practices, that they've got all these things in place to make sure that we keep our firefighters safe and that their departments are safe. The one thing I want to do upcoming is we're gonna applaud those departments, because we have some that do reach out to us to say, "Hey, we want to get a safety compliance inspection and have that for our department so we can have that badge of honor." But those are the departments that are the best of the best, that are doing what they can to take care of their firefighters in all ways. And I can tell you that's important to me, taking care of our firefighters, because I know if we take care of them, they're going to take care of our communities. That's a trickle-down effect. So I'm excited about that piece. So those things that we have in place, we're going to continue to make sure that they stay in place, and if not grow. I'll certainly continue to advocate for that. But the other side of this is we've got to continue to advocate for our mental health and our behavioral health. We are losing firefighters to suicide at an alarming rate. This cancer, PTSD, suicide should not be part of the job, and we should not accept that as part of the job. And I will tell you, as leaders, what we permit, we promote. It's our job. If somebody doesn't hook up the LEV to the trucks, if they wear bunker gear into the living quarters or into other areas, it's our job to say, "Hey, we can't do that," and then tell them why. But what we permit, we promote. And so it's got to start at the top, and we've got to take ownership for it to trickle down to our firefighters. So it's up to us to make a difference, and all of us can make a difference, and you pass it along and pass it along and pass it along. So I guess my hope is that we continue this work, and that you know that I will continue the work, and that I will continue to fight and advocate for our firefighters, for our research scientists, to make sure that we can give them the tools that they need to be safe, give them the tools they need to do their job. But I will tell you, it is also their responsibility to put safety as priority number one. It's not on us. They've got to embrace it. It can't be that badge of honor to have the dirty helmet or the dirty gear. They've got to embrace it, and we've got to make sure that they do that. So thank you for your time today. Enjoy the rest of the conference here today. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do in the future. So I'm going to be here with you hand in hand. And Alberto, I love you. We're going to continue 3030 podcast. I wasn't sure if anyone was listening to it. We did 4 of them last year. It was really great. I came on and said, hey, I'd like to do a 3030 podcast. And people said, well, what does that mean? And what it is my hope is for a happy, healthy 30-year career so we can get to that. What we deserve is that happy, healthy 30-year retirement. And so we did 4 last year. We're going to get back on track, kind of redesign it a little bit and have it a little bit more free-flowing. But I'm excited about that, and hopefully we'll do another 4 this year with our partners. So thank you very much. Have a great conference today.
Thank you, Director Rice. That was a terrific message about resiliency. And through resiliency, we share knowledge, right? And knowledge exchange is important. So this part of the symposium is our workshops that's dedicated to sharing knowledge. So we have 4 special workshops for our firefighters this year. One on remediation of PFAS exposures, the history of remediation of PFAS. Another one on mental health in the fire service. Our 3rd workshop, the Firefighter Cancer Initiative Toolkit and Education Curriculum. And our 4th workshop, Station Redesign and Preliminary Exposure Reduction. Our 5th workshop is a scientific workshop organized right here in this room. So for those of you that are going to be attending the firefighter workshops, you'll find them downstairs where you came in earlier this morning. So in just a minute, I'll ask all of you to, depending on which workshop you want to go, if you're for a firefighter workshop, you'll go down the stairs to the first floor. You'll look at the TV and see, based on your last name, what workshop you can rotate. You'll start the rotation process through. And for those of you that will be attending the scientific workshop, you're already in the room. Just stay here with us. Anything?
That's it. So we will be downstairs giving you direction on where to go. The TV screen has which workshop you go to based on your last name. And then you guys will all rotate. So we will see you down there.
Okay. Have a great workshop.